Good evening, everyone. Welcome to OIC 10K Totally Lit. And this is our financial literacy forum where we are learning information together. My name is Marlene Hearn, and I'm your host for this evening. In this forum, we have that on every Tuesday and every Thursday from 7 to 7:30 CST. So, again, welcome. And we're on our mission, and our mission is to empower the people in our communities with the basic financial knowledge and information so that together we may build wealth, we may elevate our lifestyle, and create legacies for future generations. So we do have this free community financial education forum, and today's topic we will be discussing the basics on annuities. Our Totally Lit Financial Educational Forum is excited to bring this valuable information to our community. And to hear this information, it's going to be presented by none other than our equity partner, business director, John D. Robinson. Mr. Robinson, BD John, are you ready?
Absolutely. I am so ready. I am so ready. Good
Welcome.
evening. Good evening. All righty. So I usually have a little James Bond music, whenever I speak, but that's okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna forego it this time, and I'm not gonna send that check. I usually, I send a check to get some music for me, but I didn't get none. So anyway, y'all can tell already. I like to have a good time, and I believe you can have a good time in whatever you're doing. You can still be effective. You can be successful, and you can still have a good time. So my name is John Robinson, like my host so graciously introduced me, and I'm excited. I'm one of the business directors here with OIC 10K. We are excited about bringing this information to our community, and I really want to get started. I read a book that says people perish for the lack of knowledge, and I believe that if people have knowledge in whatever they're trying to do or whatever areas they're lacking in, then they can fix that, can rise above whatever conditions they're dealing with. So today we're going to be talking about the basics on annuities, basics on annuities, and our Totally Lit Financial Education Forum is excited to bring this valuable information to our community. I'm going to definitely try to keep it down into about 20 minutes, 21 minutes, but there's a lot to talk about. And these are just the basics. And every now and then on the internet you see slides about well, annuities, they may not be good or this or that or the other, but the bottom line is, how many of y'all familiar with Social Security? People get their Social Security check, and then you like annuities. Then, if you like Social Security, you like annuities, because that's kind of what it's all about. It functions just that way. Now, let's talk about the introduction to annuities. And by one of the definition is an annuity is a financial product or instrument that provides a series of payments made at equal intervals. Now, that's just one definition, one basic definition, but by the time I get through with this, you're going to know that annuities is a whole lot. And the primary purpose for annuities, is used for retirement savings and income. So people use the retirement programs to set up the annuity programs to set up their retirement, to make sure that they have money in retirement, have a lifetime income, and so on and so forth. Now, let's keep going. Let's talk about the types of annuities. There are several types of annuities. There are fixed annuities, and the fixed annuity is guaranteed. You have a guaranteed interest rate, and you have predictable payments. And so the thing about fixed annuities are you either put money into it or you deposit a sum of money with a pre-agreement. The company already tells you how much interest rate you're going to earn. And so you don't get all concerned about the market doing this, the market doing that. They said you're going to earn 2% and 3%, and that's what's going to happen. That's fixed annuities. Then you have variable annuities. Well, the money you earn and the interest you grow and how your money grow in a variable annuity is totally dependent on the market. So, it varies. If the market is up, you're making money. If the market is down, you're losing money, right? So it has great potential for growth, but it also has the risk of loss. You can lose money when you're dealing with a variable annuity, right? Now, you have also index annuities, right? And in index annuities, the returns are tied to the stock market index, right? What is an index? You have your S&P 500, you got your U.S. Fundamental Index, Global Balance, Russell's, and your Dow Jones. There's a Credit Suisse and the Swiss market, and there's a Hansen, and so these are huge conglomerates, of businesses. And the thing about the index annuities is that they have a combination of the fixed and the variable, right? So what am I meaning when I say that? When you have a fixed index annuity, so the index annuity has that floor that says you're not going to lose your money, right? The market drops, your principal is not going to drop with the market. They're saying we're not going to allow that to happen, right? But also they control a lot of times how much you're allowed to gain from the market, right? You with the index, they say zero is your hero. You get your floor, don't worry about it. But this index only allows you to earn up to 7%. So now they introduce a thing that's called a cap, right? So you have an interest cap, right? So if the market does 11% and your cap is 7, well, then you're going to get 7%, right? So it's a great way of earning money, of your money earning interest and not limited so much to the fixed situation, like we're going to give you 3%. Usually most fixed annuities, they're not fixed on big numbers. They're fixed on smaller numbers, 3, 2, 5% sometimes when the market is real good, 4%, things like that. But with your index annuities, you are able to earn more, 7, 8, 9%. There's some caps that are 11%. And then again, there's some indexes that they don't impose a cap on you. So what the market does, you get to do. So if the market does 15%, your money gets to earn 15%. So that's your index annuities. And the index annuities have become very, very popular lately because people want to grow their money. They want their money to earn money. But, they don't want to take a risk. And they want to minimize their risk. And so your index programs would do that for you. All right, good. So let's go to the next slide here. And let's talk about some key features of the annuities, all right? All right, so payment frequency. There are some annuities that you can save, or you can not necessarily payment. This is not a debt. This instrument is used to save money for retirement, or sometimes people just want an additional form of saving. It's just a great instrument for that. And some annuities allow you to do monthly premiums or deposits. I think that'd be a better term. Monthly deposits. Some of them have minimums, minimum of $100 a month, minimum of $50 a month, right? But you can do monthly. Some of them would say, okay, you can do quarterly deposit. You don't have to do monthly. Or you can just do annual deposit, which is great. So some annuities have even single premium. They're what's called single premium annuities. So that means you have a sum of money somewhere. You want to put it in this program, and there's no monthly, there's no system for that type of maintenance. It's just a single premium annuity. These programs have a little bit extra sometimes because all the money is in there up front, and now the big indexes that are working with it, they have that money that they can do more with it. So sometimes they offer a little bit extra, what, higher rates that you can earn on your money. They introduce other things like participation rates. That's very interesting right there. And when we do an in-depth study on annuity, we're going to really get into that. But a participation rate says this. If the market does 5% and you have 100% participation rate, now your money's going to earn that 5%. If the market does 5% and you have a 200% participation rate, now your money earns 10%. So participation rate is really interesting, and it's a great process there. Now let's move on. Accumulation phase, right? Since this product is one that's used for saving for retirement, the accumulation phase is the period when you contribute money to grow your account along with interest earned. So you're putting money in the annuity because you want to accumulate as much as you can so that when you're in retirement, you can have a good income and it can last, right? So the accumulation phase is when you're putting in the money. Look, the money that you want for retirement is going to come from the money that you have in one of these programs. So the more you want is the more you got to put in. And people will say, well, how much do I got to put in? Can I put in 100, 200? Yes, a couple of hundred or 100 is great to save for retirement. But you got to start putting in that 100 when you're like 2 years old. If you put in 100 when you're 2 years old, 100 a month, when you get to retirement, you're going to be okay. But you can't start putting in 100 or 200 when you're 45 years old. You got to put more because you're only going to get based on what you put in and what grows from what you put in. All right. Now, distribution phase. That's a period where you start to receive payments for a certain period or for a lifetime. There are many of these programs that have what's called a guaranteed lifetime income. Now, in the full sense of the word, the way a lot of the normal annuities program work is that you put your money in for whatever period of time, and based on the money you have accumulated there, now it starts to pay you income for lifetime. But that lifetime income is there's a formula to calculate that. And so the thing about it, though, is that when it's paying you the lifetime income, sometimes if you live a short period of time, let's look at your Social Security. Let's say you work for 40 years. Now you're 65. You started working at the age of 25. You're 65 and you work 40 years. So you paid into your Social Security for a long time. And God forbid something happens and now you die 5 years after you retired. So you're saying, okay, wait a minute. I paid in for 40 years. I only collected for 5 years. What happens to the rest of the money? Anyone want to think about that? Well, with that type of annuity, once it starts to pay, you lose control. You have no more control over this. You're going to get payment, and that's it. There's some other annuities that allow you to receive an income, also be aware of your balance, sometimes even grow your money while you're getting a lifetime income, and you're able to get a lifetime income and die and leave an inheritance, pass on to a beneficiary. So there are a lot of different aspects to that, but the distribution phase is very, very important. All right. Now, some advantages of or I should say some perceived advantages of annuities, and then we'll talk about some perceived disadvantages. But having a guaranteed income, that's one of the main things about annuities. You want your money to last beyond your lifetime. Who wants to live a nice long life and your money ran out 10 years ago or 20 years ago? Nobody wants to do that. So you want to have a lifetime income, right? And it provides a reliable source of stream, during retirement. Now, listen, someone asked me the other day, how many of these can I have? Well, you can only have one Social Security, okay? Even with Social Security, if you're a couple and both of you have worked, both of you contributed, but now you're going to be on Social Security. Well, both of you can collect Social Security, but if one dies, Social Security will allow you to keep the highest of the two checks, but you don't get to keep two checks. So just to make sure that that really comes across, you work for 40 years, you and your spouse, retired at 65, you're enjoying your retirement, but 5 years down the road, your spouse dies. And then Social Security says, well, you can get the highest of the two checks, but you can't get the two checks, right? Now, other annuities, you can have an annuity that you put together yourself, and you don't have to have just one annuity. You can have several and have several lifetime streams coming to you. So that's something that I want you to keep in mind. Annuities, as we get familiar with this and understand it, now you better control it, and you can control your flow of income. So just keep that in mind. Tax deferred. With some annuities that would allow you to save money in it, tax deferred. Some people like that. It's kind of like the 401k. The 401k says you can put this money in here before you touch it, before your money is taxed, and then it lowers your taxes, and you have that money that you're saving, and you don't have to worry about paying taxes on it until you retire. So that is something that a lot of people see as an advantage, and they like that. But some people also think, okay, wait a minute, I don't pay money or taxes on my seed, but when I have this big harvest down the road, I got to pay taxes then. So that's something to think about also. But tax deferred growth. A tax deferred growth says you can save this money, but whenever you get ready to use it, you must pay taxes on it. All right. And then customization, the various options to suit the individual financial needs. So the great thing about annuities is they're not just one thing for everybody. There's some flexibility. There's flexibility with the amount of money you put in. There's flexibility with how often you can put it in. There's flexibility with how your money earns interest, how it grows, how it pays. There's a lot of flexibility, and that's a great thing about annuities. All right, now some perceived disadvantages of annuities. High costs. Some people say they have high cost fees, or fees that are, high costs, including surrender charges, management fees, and so on. So surrender charge, what is that? Can I do that quickly? Yeah. Surrender charge says this. You gave me $100,000. You put it in this index. You want us to grow this money for you. Well, this is not an ATM. If we put this money to grow for you, it's a long-term thing. And so most companies will put a 10-year surrender charge that decreases every year. Why? Because that money is invested. They want it to work. Growing money is sort of a long-term thing. It's not a overnight thing. If you want your money to grow overnight, you got to go to Vegas, or you got to you got to you got to hit the lottery, or some people do day trade and all that kind of stuff. Okay, that's okay. But annuities are a long-term proposition. So they want you to keep the money there, so they impose some penalties on you. And then that decreases over the years. And once that money's there, for the most part, 10 years, all your money's available to you again, and so on. Some people don't like that. They want it to they want to be able to pick it up whenever they want to. And the company's saying that's not going to work. complexity. It said this can be difficult to understand all the different features and terms. And this is true. These financial instruments can be a bit complex. But, hey, whoever you're talking to, the burden is on them to make it plain for you. It is your money, right? And a lot of times people just want to make sales. And, they want to use big words, make a sale, and you just trust them and that's it. Well, I don't function like that. Make it plain. Help me to understand. Does that mean I'm going to understand everything? No, because you studied this for 2 or 3 years or whatever, so you know everything. But you need to make it plain for me to understand if you want to have my money. But that's just me. You do as you wish. Now, limited liquidity. They say funds may be locked up, or in for a set period of time and so on. Well, and that is true of like the Social Security annuity. You contributing money every pay period, but when do you get to access your money from Social Security? you don't get to touch that until you retire. And in some cases, they can, there's some exceptions like for illness and so on and so forth. But now there are different types of annuities, and there are many annuities that make your money available, surrender charge or not. Some of them make a portion of it, 10% or 15% available every year if you want to take some of your money. No penalties, no anything. So that here goes with understanding. All right, where's my time going? All right, now, when to consider annuities, for retirement planning, for tax planning, legacy planning, and also you may just want to have an additional saving. There is no law that says you only have to have one saving or one source of retirement income. All right. So as far as conclusion is concerned, annuities can be a valuable tool for retirement and financial planning. Understanding the different types and features is essential for making an informed decision. Okay. So here at OIC 10K, we really appreciate the opportunity to just share this information with our community, and you allowing us to share this with you. We're excited about what we're doing in the community. We're excited about bringing this information to you, and we look forward to seeing you again. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday. All right. Y'all have a great evening.